Welcome back yet again for another TwoSun Tuesday. And this guy that I have right in front of me here is the TS204 Bronc, or Bronc. Lee over at Love Them Knives ended up throwing this particular model name on that after Shan Hassan, aka Tepe Designs, asked him about that a long time ago. This is an interesting piece. The blade length on it isn't absolutely massive, as you can see. It's just a touch over 3 inches, 3.08 from back here. So just a little under 3 inches of fully sharpened blade length there. But we have a very, very nice thick handle on here. This one is, of course, it's Tepe Designs, but it's also Matt Syzmanski there. That's that guy's logo. This is number 429, as you can see up here. So this is a fairly new one. And yeah, CPM S90V on this guy. And I had a bit of a trouble actually doing the full sharpening on this thing here. So I do think that probably helps a bit with it having a little bit more hardness than some of their other previous S90V. So if anybody is kind of worried about that, they seem to be improving on that. This, if I remember right, this has a blacked blade, but not all of them were blacked. I do think that as I do have written down, at least in my spreadsheet, this is a TS204-Black, because I do think that you can get it without the black blade on there. And that might make the action just a little tiny bit better, but hey, the action's already great. So there you go. This is a flipper, of course. The flipper does curve up a bit, but the way the handle is designed, I don't really have too much of a trouble of my finger sliding up in there and getting all sorts of pinched by it. I seem to hold it back a little bit further than that. I guess if you have really, really small fingers, you could consider that to be a finger choil. Or I suppose, just the fingertip there if you did want to kind of sneak up a little bit. At that point, though, I would highly suggest probably just trying to do a pinch grip to it. And that gives you basically that same kind of box cutter blade kind of profile there that you have a whole bunch of control over. Not quite fully crowned, but very, very nicely transitioned on both sides here. And this has carbon fiber for the bolster portion of the scales, and then really nice white micarta, or not micarta, sorry, white G10 going on for the backside here. And I really do like the looks of white I keep saying micarta, of white G10, but it is very difficult for a lot of factories to deal with it, especially when they're doing things of other colors, because any little color can kind of contaminate it and stuff like that. That's why, even if you do see white or similar or something like that, this is the Benchmade bug out, they opt for gray or an ivory-ish kind of look to it, because doing pure white, yeah, like I said, it can get a lot of impurities in there, and that can really mess it up. But yes, so we got the pocket clip, mounts a little bit into the back G10 there. Interesting that we have some kind of a jimping going on there. That does add just a little bit of flexibility to the top half of that pocket clip. Makes that fairly easy to get in there. And what does make this thing a little interesting is this is titanium liners. You can see that because we have the hardened steel insert going on there. This isn't this is the model that I do believe started that. However, I do have another one here. This is the TS50 that does have titanium liners as well. However, as far as I know, there hasn't really been very many of these. Most of these ones have been with steel liners. But, hey, this one is with titanium liners, and it's neat. It doesn't necessarily save you a whole lot of weight because the liners on these are a little bit thicker than you would see on like a liner lock or something, or a standard steel liner lock, but it still works out quite well. Like I'd said earlier, the handle on this thing is quite thick. We are talking 0.63 of an inch, which is quite a bit thicker than you would get from like a Spyderco PM2, which is between 0.5 and 0.51 of an inch there. So yeah, just a little bit on the thicker side. That's a full 16 millimeters thickness for y'all there. Let's see. Earlier, I did mention the blade length here being 3.08 inches. In metric, that's going to be 78.3 millimeters. And yeah, this thing, because of the kind of thick handles and because G10 itself is a little bit more of a heavier material, this is just a touch over 4 ounces, 4.06 ounces, or 115 grams. That works out all right. And blade stock thickness, 3.6 millimeters, so just a little bit thinner than they do with a lot of their other knives there, and I appreciate that. We have also what helps kind of give it a little bit more heft is the very, very extensive backspacer on this guy. Even though the blade was nowhere near close to the end there, it was designed quite well that way. It is fully protected there, so you don't really have to worry about any of that sort of stuff. If you are carrying it in, say, a pack or something like that, rather than in your pocket, then that will also help protect it from anything else that it might be rumbling around against. So that works out pretty well. And I'm definitely going to end up calling this a sheep's cliff blade. Or a worn foot, either one that you actually end up wanting to call that. Because you can stab fairly decently with that tip. So it doesn't, that hump isn't further over. But it's right there in the middle between the two of them. So, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. It's a sheep's foot, worn cliff, sheep's cliff, worn foot, whatever the hell you want to end up calling that. But yes, if you are looking for something that has a really nice, comfortable handle due to it being thicker, so it has a little bit more of that nicer, contoured feeling of a fixed blade. Obviously, you still have the giant pocket there for the folding knife to go into. But yeah, this thing works out quite well. I'm happy that I finally got my hands on it. These things are usually a little bit more expensive than a lot of the other models that came out around the time with a lot of similar materials, which is why, hey, it took me long enough. This is number 429. But hey, at least this thing has been popular enough to have them manufacture, at this point, I'm sure, 500, if not more, copies of this knife out there. So that works out quite well for them and me, because it meant that I could wait around for a while, and I finally scored this one for $9,800, so just under $100, which for a really decent design with S90V and with their better heat treat of the stuff on their much more recent models, that works out pretty darn well. I do like this one a lot, and I really do like the contrast between the carbon fiber and the white G10 there. A little red, what I'm assuming is G10 kind of thing on the inside of the pivot there. I could take it or leave it. It's nice to have a little bit of extra color, but not exactly my absolute favorite thing going on there. But you can see the finishing on the blade here does have a little bit of a tumbled look to it. Works out quite well. I like it. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons, shall we? Starting with what I had mentioned earlier, the Spyderco PM2. So there's that. It's larger. Let's go ahead and drop the Endura. That's way too big anyway for it. So let's move on to the Benchmade 940, which is Yeah, larger there. We have fairly similar kind of proportions and everything here with the bug out. Obviously, this is yeah, this is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal compared to I don't know, like you know, a fashion model or something like that of the bug out here. Yeah, I'll keep that open. Let's see, another one that's probably appropriate for this guy here would be the K-Bar Dozier Folding Hunter. As you can see, yeah, that's quite similar as well. And sure, why not the Kalashnikov 74? That's just a little tiny bit larger. So fantastic. Let's see. I got a little bit of cardboard here. I can go ahead and cut with this guy. Show you that, yeah, this thing definitely does have a decent geometry for doing basically whatever you kind of want. You can even do some nice curved cuts if you'd like. Works out quite well. So, yes, that is basically what I wanted to cover for the standard review of this guy here, the TS204 from Matt Syzmanski and Tepe Design. Okay, so here's the point in the video where if that's all you're interested in, I thank you for being around. And for the rest of us, we're going to go ahead and take a little peek on the underside here. Or the underside. Alright, so T8 hardware on this guy here. We got that. Yep, like I said, we got a little bit of a notch in the G10 there. Kind of wish that you could swap the clip on there, but there's very, very few TwoSun models that actually let you do that, unfortunately. There we go. And yeah, we can see we have a decent amount of skeletonization going on there. Where we got a couple of holes there. We have basically a dovetail joint holding the carbon fiber and G10 together there. And of course, because these are titanium liners, we do have to have these steel bearing races in there. And you can see, yeah, we have a lot more skeletonization going on this side here. We got internal stop pin again, of course, and the standard TwoSun bearing sizes. And this one does have the detent ramp going on there. So, yeah, quite good, all things considered. If you are going to pair a knife with titanium, carbon fiber, and then G10, which some people probably think of as a little bit of a lesser material these days, then you at least might as well do that on really, really good designs. And so far, TwoSun has done that on the ones that have had titanium and G10. I can even pull some of those out, now that I think about it. I'm going to have a little fun with that here at the very end. So, let's see. Well, there was this guy, the TS343 Molten, that I had just taken a look at last week. But, oh, there was also, if I can find it, there we go. This guy right here, this is a TS385 from Night Morning Design. That's also got that. And, if I can find this darn thing, I don't quite remember the number off the top of my head. Here we are. I lied, that's not it. I'll be right with you. I'm just looking for it. Here we are. And one of my absolute favorites is the TS273. This is another Night Morning Design with a little G10 scale here. This one's orange, which it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's not particularly mine either, but I haven't really bothered to try to dye it another color. But yeah, this is just a really fantastic design. Nice fully crowned in the back there, and basically almost fully crowned around the whole darn thing. I've stonewashed this myself. It's because it's 14C28N and it was easy to scratch. Yeah, really good model. So basically what I'm saying is that if TwoSun ends up pairing titanium with G10, usually it's a really, really good design anyway. So it's not just something where they're skimping on materials. It's something where the designer actually really wants that. And hey, I appreciate it, and all of them are great. So with that being said, I also appreciate all of you, and all of you are great. So as always, I appreciate you, of course, as I just said. And have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.